Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport, and you're getting a glut of videos because I was just sort of looking through the internet for stuff and I saw this come up and I just had to say something. Nico Hulkenberg is a driver I actually like very much. I really want him to get that podium in Formula 1 that he so richly deserves. But you should not be signing him as a full-time driver in 2023. I've discussed many times this year that I think it's actually a good thing that some of the older drivers are being moved on and making space for the next generation. And now Haas are talking about getting rid of Mick Schumacher and replacing him with Nico Hulkenberg. Nico Hulkenberg as a reserve driver is fine. He's good enough that he can come in for a couple of races and not embarrass himself. But you don't want him for a full season of 24 races. I'm not saying he's bad, I'm just saying it's such a sideways move. You're Haas. Is Nico Hulkenberg really going to do any better than Mick Schumacher? A driver who you've talked about sacking all year, which fair enough, at the start of the year he was crashing a lot. That was a big one in Monaco. But he's improved, he got his head down, he scored a few points, and even at the last Grand Prix at Monza, he out-qualified Kevin Magnussen and he beat him in the race. Mick Schumacher is doing everything you want of him and you're still trying to get rid of him, and not only that, you're trying to replace him with a guy who has never finished higher than 4th in 180 starts. It's unbelievable. Haas have made some poor decisions in the past. Nikita Mazepin was one of them. Rich Energy. It's actually shocking to me that Haas are only on their 7th season of Formula 1. They've only had 6 drivers in that time. Going way back to the start, they had Esteban Gutierrez for a season. He didn't do great. They had Nikita Mazepin, who was even worse. Pietro Fittipaldi stepped in for Romain Grosjean, did a couple of races, and the main two are Grosjean and Magnussen, with Mick Schumacher for the last couple of seasons. Really, when you think about it, the best driver out of them is between Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen, and that's not amazing. But in 2023, do you really want your driver lineup to be Nico Hulkenberg and Kevin Magnussen? That's very 2016 Renault sort of levels. Neither of them are bad drivers. I like K-Mag a lot, I like Nico Hulkenberg. But they're not the greatest F1 drivers ever, and it's not good enough to throw away young talent for someone who is washed up. Like, Nico Hulkenberg is a reserve driver for a reason. That's how good he is. He's Paul di Resta in 2020. He gets the odd drive. I can't understand this at all. It's just bizarre. I don't know what Haas expect from Nico Hulkenberg. Is he... their car's not very good. Their drivers can't score points. Nico Hulkenberg's not going to improve that situation. You look at Aston Martin. Yes, they've had Sebastian Vettel, who is nowhere near as good as he used to be. And he's done a pretty decent job for Aston Martin, but you can still see the appeal. He's a 4-time world champion. Them signing Fernando Alonso to replace him. Very much too long in the tooth, but he is still a 2-time world champion and commands respect. I understand why they signed him, even if I kind of wish they didn't. And I'm very happy Aston Martin have got Felipe Drugovich on their books at least, because he's been a fantastic Formula 2 champion, really dominated the series this year, probably more than any driver has since Formula 2 became a thing. And he wasn't affiliated with a Formula 1 team at all So I'm very happy to see him on Aston Martin's books. I just wish they'd switch out Lance Stroll for him. Or maybe not sign Fernando Alonso, but I think it's a little bit too late for that. Nico Hulkenberg is just... It's a bad signing. I would not. And Gunther Steiner's confirmed that he's on a shortlist. You have Pietro Fittipaldi on your book still. If you really wanted to replace Mick Schumacher, why not him? He did a decent enough job on his 2 starts. That's pretty much what you're going to get out of Nico Hulkenberg. I'm in shock. Nico Hulkenberg. It's not, as I said, it's not like I dislike the guy. I just don't want to see him turn up for 24 races in 2023. Any young driver who is going to be off the single-seater ladder as of next year, like Théo Pourchaire, or even Christian Lundgaard in IndyCar, who's had a decent year. All of these drivers would be okay. He would probably do the exact same thing, but at least you've got one eye on the future and someone different and young and a little bit hungry for some success might push Haas a little bit forward. This is such a boring choice. And I was worried Alpine were going to sign Daniel Ricciardo, and it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. They look to be looking at other drivers. That's good management. I think trying something different when you've not really had the level of success you've wanted, and in Alpine's case, losing both Alonso and Piastri in the week. Thinking outside the box is going to take a little bit of heat off that, at least. Haas, I implore you, do not sign Nico Hulkenberg. Sign anyone else. Jehan Daruvula, Dennis Hager. I know a lot of these drivers are on other teams' books, but just anyone. I mean, Jehan Daruvula is a Ferrari Academy driver, so it would fit. He's experienced in Formula 2. He's a race winner in Formula 2. He's having a decent enough year. Why not get Daruvula? Why Nico Hulkenberg? Why get rid of Mick Schumacher? He's done pretty much everything you've asked of him. He's driving pretty well at the moment. I don't know what he's done to upset Gunther Steiner. Like, if he's run over his dog or pissed in his morning cereal, fair enough, I guess, if you really want to get rid of him. But he's not awful. He's scored points and he's doing all right. Why not just keep him for another season? What's the worst that can happen? If he starts crashing a lot, you've got Nico Hulkenberg as a reserve driver. You can swap him if you really want to. Just don't get Nico Hulkenberg for a full season. It's such a backward step. But it's Haas, and I'm not entirely surprised. So I thought, I don't know what I think. I've done a couple of videos on Formula 3. My top 5 most disappointing drivers and my top 5 most surprising drivers. They've both gone up in the last few hours. I'm going to throw this one up as well. There's going to be more this week. I'm trying to get a lot of stuff done. I'm going to try and finish some projects. So, Greatest Touring Car Driver Tournament might actually get finished this week. We're going to do some more Let's Watch Formula E. Probably chuck out another couple of One Race Wonders as well. And whatever else takes my fancy. There's not a lot of motorsport on this weekend, so I might try to do a few different things. And we'll see how they work out. So make sure you subscribe for that. Thank you for watching. Don't sign Nico Hulkenberg, and have a good one.